Electric cars, they're quiet, they're efficient, and they're about as exciting as a vegan barbecue. But gasoline cars, they're loud, they're obscene, and they'll bankrupt you faster than a divorce. Tonight, we settle the greatest debate since pineapple on pizza. Can 20 electric toasters outshine 20 fairy, fossil-fueled dragons? Or will the future of driving be as thrilling as a PowerPoint presentation? Strap in. This is War, the Tesla Model 3. A rolling Wi-Fi hotspot for people who think throttle response is a YouTube buffering issue, versus the BMW 3 Series, a car for those who still believe horsepower should involve actual horses, or at least the sound of them screaming. The Model 3 accelerates like it's been shoved off a cliff by an angry dragon. Zoo to 60 in 3.1 seconds. But here's the problem, it does it in silence. It's like watching a fireworks display with earmuffs on. Where's the danger? The point. Meanwhile, the BMW has a 2.0-litre turbo that sounds like it's gargling gravel. It's slower. Yes, but it feels faster, because noise is speed you can hear. The Tesla looks like an iPhone mated with a bar of soap. Minimalist? No, it's lazy. The BMW, classic line. A proper grille, and just enough chrome to remind you it's aspirational, like a Rolex, but with cuff holders. Electricity's cheaper than a politician's promise. But the BMW, oh, the horror. You'll spend more on premium unleaded than a Hollywood starlet spends on Botox. But at least petrol stations aren't hiding inside shopping malls. The Tesla steering has all the feedback of a brick wall. But the BMW, it wriggles, it breathes. It reminds you that driving is supposed to be fun, not a glorified Excel spreadsheet. So, verdict, the Tesla's the future. Efficient, practical, and about as exciting as a tax audit. The BMW, it's the last gasp of a dying breed, and I'll miss it like I'll miss fireworks and common sense. The Ford F-150, America's favorite way to move air from one place to another. But now, it's gone electric. The F-150 Lightning, a truck so quiet, it's practically apologizing for existing, versus the F-150 EcoBoost, which runs on crushed dinosaurs and bad decisions. Let's see if electrons can out-muscle explosions. The Lightning has 775 lb of torque, enough to tow your house, your mother-in-law, and your crippling self-doubt. But here's the catch. Drive it 300 miles, and you'll spend more time charging than a Netflix binge. The EcoBoost, fill the tank and go. Until the oil wars start course. The Lightning looks like a regular F-150 if you squint and ignore the fact that it's about as exciting as a halogen headlight. The EcoBoost, classic truck DNA, big grille, big tires, and a big appetite for your pension. It's like comparing a sledgehammer to a slightly quieter sledgehammer. The Lightning's cabin is library quiet, which is great if you enjoy hearing your passengers' opinions. The EcoBoost, it's got that glorious V6 rumble. A soundtrack for people who think engine noise is a personality trait. Electricity is cheaper than a politician's apology, but good luck finding a charger that isn't wedged between a Dollar General and existential despair. The EcoBoost. You'll spend enough on gas to fund a small dictatorship. The Lightning accelerates like it's late for a vegan potluck. The EcoBoost. It's slower, but the engine talks back. You can feel every gear change, every drop of fuel igniting like a conversation with an old friend who still owes you money. The Lightning's range plummets faster than my willpower at a buffet if you dare to use the heater. The EcoBoost. Drive it till the wheels fall off or until the Middle East raises an eyebrow. Charging this thing takes longer than a Yankees Red Sox game. The EcoBoost. 3 minutes at the pump and you're gone. Just like my faith in humanity. The Lightning is brilliant if you live next to a power plant and hate fun. The EcoBoost. Dumb, thirsty, and exactly what a truck should be. Buy the Lightning to save the planet. Buy the EcoBoost to save your soul. Ladies and gentlemen, behold, a battle of German engineering versus German guilt. The Porsche Taycan Turbo S, an electric spaceship that's faster than your credit score after a divorce, versus the Porsche Panamera Turbo, a petrol-powered Panzer tank with leather seats. Let's see which one deserves to wear the Porsche crest and which one deserves to be turned into a coffee table. The Taycan has 750 horsepower and accelerates like it's been fired from a railgun. 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. But here's the problem. It does it with all the drama of a calculator. It's cold. Solace, like being hugged by a robot. A very fast robot. The Panamera, it's slower. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. But oh, the noise? That twin-turbo V8 doesn't just roar. It recites poetry. Shakespeare with a side of piston fire. You don't drive this car, you conduct it. The Taycan looks like a 911 that's been stretched by a psychopath. Sleek, yes, but it's missing something. Ah, yes. Exhaust pipes. The Panamera? It's a four-door sports car for people who've outgrown midlife crises but still want to scare pedestrians. The Taycan's cabin is quieter than a library in space. You'll hear your passenger's heartbeat. The Panamera. It coddles you like a billionaire's yacht, but with just enough engine growl to remind you that you're alive. The Taycan grips the road like a paranoid koala. It's precise, clinical, boring. The Panamera? It's a velvet sledgehammer. You feel every bump, every gear change, every reason cars shouldn't be electric. Drive the Taycan hard. And its range drops faster than my jaw when I see a Marmite latte. The Panamera. Fill the tank and drive till you've memorized every billboard in Nebraska. Charging the Taycan takes longer than a German apology. The Panamera? 3 minutes at the pump, and you're back to terrorizing villages. The Taycan is a technical marvel. It's the future. It's perfect for people who think joy is a spreadsheet. The Panamera. It's flawed. It's thirsty. It's a lie. And that's why it wins. Ah, Audi, the brand that gave us Quattro Le Mans dominance and really nice rental cars. Now they've gone mad. The e-tron GT, a 637 horsepower electric soffit versus the RS7, a 591 horsepower gasoline gargoyle that sounds like it's chewing through the fabric of space-time. Let's settle this Volkswagen or Vorsprung durch explosions. The e-tron GT is faster than a Rumor, 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. But it does it with all the emotion of a tax return. It's like dating a supermodel who only talks about tax credits. The RS7, it's slower, 3.5 seconds. But listen to that twin-turbo V8. It doesn't just accelerate, it threatens. It's a symphony composed by a madman with a flamethrower. You're not driving this car. You're negotiating with it. The e-tron GT looks like a spaceship designed by IKEA. Sleek, sure. But where's the drama? The menace? The RS7? It's a four-door assassin in a tailored suit. The rear diffuser alone could double as a weapons system. The e-tron's cabin is so quiet, you'll hear your own existential dread. The RS7, it's got massaging seats, but who needs a massage when the exhaust note vibrates your soul? The e-tron grips the road like a clingy ex. It's precise, predictable, perfect. The RS7, it's a wild animal in a Savile Row suit. It'll understeer, oversteer, and make you sweat like a sinner in church. And you'll love every second. Drive the e-tron GT like you stole it, and its range vanishes faster than my hairline in the 90s. The RS7, fill it up and drive till you've memorized every pothole in the Midwest. Charging the e-tron takes 45 minutes. That's enough time to watch Die Hard, which is ironic because this car couldn't save Nakatomi Plaza if it tried. The e-tron GT is a masterpiece of engineering. It's the future. It's brilliant for people who think joy is a checkbox. The RS7, it's flawed, it's thirsty, it's human, and that's why it wins. Ah, the battle of the budget bins, the Chevrolet Bolt EV, a toaster on wheels for people who think excitement is a new flavor of oat milk versus the Honda Civic, a glorified shopping trolley that's been reliably boring since the Nixon administration. The Bolt has 200 horsepower and accelerates like a startled tortoise, 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. But here's the catch, it does it with all the enthusiasm of a tax accountant. It's quiet, it's smooth, it's depressing. Driving this is like listening to elevator music in a lift that's stuck. The Civic, it's slower, 7.5 seconds, but at least the engine makes noise. Not a good noise. Mind you, it sounds like a blender full of spoons. But noise is noise. It's proof that something's happening, even if that something is just Honda reminding you they still make dishwashers. The Bolt looks like a soap bar that's been microwaved for too long. It's about as stylish as a filing cabinet. The Civic, it's got fake vents and a rear end that screams, I tear IED. But at least it doesn't look like it was designed by a focused group of accountants. The Bolt seats are softer than a politician's handshake. The Civic, it's got all the lumbar support of a park bench. But at least the Civic's infotainment system doesn't feel like it was coded by a teenager on a caffeine binge. Electricity's cheap, but the Bolt's reign. 259 mile. is just enough to get you to the edge of your sanity and back. The Civic, 42 mpg, that's enough to drive from Miami to Montreal, or until you realize you're driving a Honda Civic. The Bolt's steering is numb, like driving a cloud made of Tupperware. The Civic, it's slightly less numb. Throw it into a corner, and it understeers like a shopping cart full of bricks. But at least you can get it with a manual transmission, a dying art, like reading maps or common sense. The Bolt's got a front trunk, perfect for storing your hopes and dreams. The Civic, it's got a proper trunk for proper things, like groceries or bodies, if you're into that sort of thing. Charging the Bolt takes 7 hours. That's enough time to watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy twice. The Civic, 3 minutes at the pump, and you're off. Just like my interest in this segment, the Bolt EV is practical, efficient, and about as thrilling as a screensaver. The Civic, it's cheap, cheerful, and slightly less soul-crushing. Buy the Bolt if you hate joy. Buy the Civic if you hate yourself slightly less. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hyundai vs Hyundai, the Kona electric, a car for people who want to save the planet but can't afford a Tesla, versus the Kona Gas, a car for people who want to save their sanity but can't afford a personality. Let's see which identical twin deserves your mediocre life choices. They look the same headlights, same plastic cladding, same desperate cry for attention, but one's powered by electrons, the other by explosions. The electric has 201 horsepower and goes 0-60 in 6.4 seconds, quicker than a caffeine-fueled in turn. The gas, 147 horsepower and 0-60 in 9.2 seconds, which is slower than a tax refund. But here's the twist: the gas version has a noise, not a good noise. Mind you, it sounds like a hairdryer fighting a kazoo. The electric has no grille, which means it looks like a surprise toaster. The gas, it's got a grille! A fake one, of course, because Hyundai knows petrolheads need something to polish. Both interiors, grey plastic and enough touchscreens to make you miss actual buttons. It's like sitting in a Best Buy clearance aisle. The electric is quieter than a library in a coma. You'll hear every creak, every rattle, every sigh of existential dread. The gas, it's louder, but not in a V8 raw way. The electric costs 0.03 per mile cheaper than a gumball. But here's the rub: charging the electric takes 9 hours. The gas, 3 minutes at the pump and you're off. Just like my interest in this segment, the electric accelerates like it's late for a Zoom meeting. It's smooth, silent, and about as engaging as a tax seminar. The gas, it's slower, but at least the CVT transmission makes a noise that says, "I'm trying." Throw it into a corner, and it understeers like a shopping trolley full of wet cement. But hey, it's got a gearbox. Sort of. The electric goes 258 miles, enough to get you to the edge of your patience and back. The gas, 400 miles. That's enough to drive from LA to Vegas and regret every life decision along the way. The Kona electric is efficient, practical, and as exciting as a screensaver. The Kona Gas is slow, thirsty, and slightly less soul-destroying. Buy the electric if you hate fun. Buy the gas if you hate yourself slightly less. And remember, both of these cars exist solely to make your Corolla look interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kia vs Kia, the EV6 GT, a 576 horsepower electric Sofe that's faster than a Roomba, versus the Stinger GT2, a twin-turbo V6 lunatic that sounds like it's gargling lava. Let's settle this. Is the future electric, or just slightly less depressing? The EV6 GT does 0-60 in 3.4 seconds. That's quicker than a politician's U-turn. But here's the problem. It's so quiet, you'll wonder if it's actually moving. It's like being fired from a cannon into a pillow factory. Where's the drama, the danger, the point? Meanwhile, the Stinger does it in 4.7 seconds, but it feels faster, because noise isn't just sound, it's evidence of life. This car doesn't accelerate, it argues. The EV6 GT looks like a spaceship designed by a futurist who's never seen a car. Sharp angles, neon lights, and enough creases to confuse an origami master. The Stinger, it's a 4-door coupe for people who think subtlety is a type of salad. Sleek, low, and just aggressive enough to scare Toyota Camry owners. The EV6 grips corners like a koala on Red Bull. It's precise, clinical, boring. The Stinger, it's a loose cannon. Throw it into a bend, and it wiggles. It protests. It reminds you that driving is supposed to be fun. It's like dating a rock star who occasionally crashes your wedding. Drive the EV6 GT hard, and its range drops faster than my jaw when I see a pineapple pizza. The Stinger, 300 miles on a tank, enough to outrun your regrets or at least delay them. Charging the EV6 takes longer than a Kia warranty meeting. The Stinger, 3 minutes at the pump, and you're off. Just like my enthusiasm for sensible hatchbacks. The EV6 GT is a marvel. It's efficient, it's futuristic, it's perfect for people who think joy is a spreadsheet. The Stinger, it's flawed, it's thirsty, it's alive, and that's why it wins. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mercedes viz Mercedes. The EQS 580, a 500 horsepower electric barge that's smoother than a diplomat's lies, versus the S-Class, a 496 horsepower gasoline aristocrat that's been coddling dictators and CEOs since dial-up internet. Let's see which one deserves the crown and which one deserves a one-way trip to the crusher. The EQS does 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, quicker than a butler fetching your monocle, but it does it in silence. It's like being whisked to your destination by invisible elves. Luxurious. Yes, exciting. About as thrilling as a tax audit in a hot tub. The S-Class, 4.9 seconds. But who cares? This isn't a car, it's a rolling palace. That twin-turbo V8 doesn't just hum, it serenades you. It's Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries with cup holders. The EQS looks like a bar of soap that's been stretched by a mad scientist. Aerodynamic. Sure. But it's missing something, a grille, without it. The front end looks like a face that forgot its eyebrows. The S-Class, classic Mercedes elegance. It's the automotive equivalent of a three-piece suit, if that suit costs more than your house. The EQS's cabin is quieter than a mime's therapy session. You'll hear your own heartbeat and regret listening. The S-Class, it's got massaging seats, champagne flutes, and a fragrance system that pumps out Audi oligarch. It doesn't ride over bumps, it apologizes to them. The EQS goes 350 miles, enough to reach your therapist's vacation home. The S-Class, 500 miles on a tank or until your chauffeur unionizes. Charging this thing takes 31 minutes. That's enough time to learn Portuguese or realize you've made a terrible life choice. The S-Class, 3 minutes at the pump and you're back to ignoring peasants. The EQS is a triumph of engineering. It's the future. It's brilliant for people who think joy is a spreadsheet. The S-Class, it's decadent, it's absurd, it's human, and that's why it wins. The Nissan Leaf, the automotive equivalent of a lukewarm herbal tea. It's here to save the planet, one soul-crushing commute at a time. And its opponent, the Nissan Sentra, a car so bland, it makes toast look rebellious. Let's find out which one is less likely to induce a coma. The Leaf has 147 horsepower, which sounds impressive until you realize a lawnmower has more charisma. 0 to 60 in 7.4 seconds. That's slower than a sloth solving Sudoku. But fear not! It's electric, which means it's powered by smugness and the tears of OPEC ministers. The Sentra, 122 horsepower. That's enough to merge onto a highway if you've written a will first. But at least it makes a noise. Not a good noise, mind you. It's the sound of resignation. The sound of a car that knows it'll spend its life ferrying socks and light bulbs from Target. The Leaf looks like a frog that's been run over by a sci-fi novel. It's got bug-eyed headlights, a grille that says I've given up, and the aerodynamic profile of a cinder block. The Sentra, it's a rolling Rorschach test. Stare at it long enough and you'll see nothing. Just beige. Metaphorical beige. The Leaf seats are softer than a politician's promise. The Sentras, they're designed by someone who clearly hates spines. But the Leaf's cabin is so quiet, you'll hear every judgmental sigh from the vegan kale in your grocery bag. The Sentra, it's CVT transmission drones like a lecture on tax codes. Choose your torture. Charging the Leaf takes 8 hours. That's enough time to knit a sweater for your cat. The Sentra, 3 minutes at the pump, and you're back to your existential dread. The Leaf goes 149 miles, enough to reach the edge of your sanity and back. The Sentra, 400 miles. That's enough to drive from London to Glasgow, or until you realize you're driving a Nissan Sentra. The Leaf is efficient, practical, and about as thrilling as watching paint dry in grayscale. The Sentra, it's slow, forgettable, and slightly less likely to make you question all your life choices. Buy the Leaf if you hate joy. Buy the Sentra if you hate yourself slightly less. The Rivian R1T, a 70,000 electric Tonka truck for people who think off-roading means dodging Whole Foods parking lot potholes. And its opponent, the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, a petrol-powered relic that's been conquering actual mountains since dial-up internet. Let's see which one deserves a spot in your garage and which one deserves a spot in a Tech Bros TED Talk. The Rivian has 830 135 horsepower. That's enough torque to spin the earth backward, or at least your driveway gravel. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Faster than a caffeinated cheetah. But here's the rub, it does it in silence. Off-roading in this is like playing Call of Duty on mute. Where's the drama, the danger, the point? The Tacoma, 278 horsepower, slower than a sloth on sedatives. But listen to that V6. It doesn't just climb rocks, it insults them. This truck doesn't care about your feelings, it cares about winning. The Rivian looks like a DeLorean mated with a Yeti cooler. It's got LED light bars and enough tech to make Elon Musk blush. The Tacoma, it's a brick with wheels. Classic, rugged, and about as aerodynamic as a cinder block in a wind tunnel. But guess which one doesn't need a software update to cross a stream? The Rivian's cabin is quieter than a yoga retreat. You'll hear your passenger's spiritual awakening. The Tacoma, it's got seats designed by someone who clearly hates spines, and a stereo that sounds like a kazoo orchestra. But at least the Tacoma's rattles remind you it's alive. Charging this thing takes 13 hours. That's enough time to hike the Appalachian Trail twice. The Tacoma, 3 minutes at the pump, and you're back to ignoring climate change. The Rivian is a marvel. It's the future. It's brilliant for people who think adventure is a Wi-Fi password. The Tacoma, it's slow, loud, and built like a bank vault. Buy the Rivian if you want to impress your therapist. Buy the Tacoma if you want to impress actual humans. Subscribe to Gear Talk or miss the chaos.